For years, the world of mixed martial arts has been dominated by fighters from the rugged mountains of Chechnya and Dagestan. With an unmatched wrestling pedigree, relentless aggression, and an unbreakable will to win, these warriors have conquered the highest levels of combat sports. Fighters like Khabib Nurmagomedov, Islam Makhachev, and Khamzat Chimaev have made history, solidifying their legacy as some of the most dominant forces the sport has ever seen. Their relentless grappling, suffocating pressure, and sheer mental toughness have overwhelmed countless opponents inside the cage. But today, we ask a controversial question. Has the Chechen fighting style reached its peak? Is this once dominant approach to MMA now on the decline, or is it simply evolving in response to the ever-changing landscape of modern combat sports? Khabib Nurmagomedov was the pinnacle of the Chechen Dagestani fighting style. A master of sambo and a relentless grappler, Khabib's undefeated record seemed to prove that this style was nearly unbeatable. His ability to impose his will on his opponents, drag them into deep waters, and control every aspect of the fight was unparalleled. However, since his retirement, cracks have begun to show in this once-feared fighting methodology. While Islam Makhachev has continued to carry the torch, recent performances by other fighters from the region have sparked debate about whether their dominance is as absolute as it once seemed. The Chechen and Dagestani fighters rely on a fundamental philosophy: dominate your opponent with grappling, neutralize their striking, and impose your will with relentless pressure. This approach, while highly effective and often overwhelming, is not without its limitations. The sport of MMA is evolving at a rapid pace, and so are its athletes. Fighters are now adapting, developing highly effective anti-wrestling techniques and finding innovative ways to neutralize the Chechen pressure style. Improved takedown defense, better scrambling ability, and refined striking strategies have all contributed to making life more difficult for these once unbeatable grapplers. With the rise of elite strikers and well-rounded mixed martial artists who can seamlessly blend striking with defensive wrestling, the question remains: can the Chechen Dagestani dominance continue, or is a new era of MMA on the horizon? Chapter 1. The changing landscape of MMA. MMA is an ever-evolving sport where adaptation is key to survival. What worked a decade ago is no longer a guaranteed path to victory, as fighters constantly refine their techniques and strategies to stay ahead of the competition. The once dominant Chechen and Dagestani grappling style, which seemed nearly unstoppable, is now facing increasing resistance from opponents who have spent years studying its intricacies and developing countermeasures. Strikers, once vulnerable to relentless wrestling pressure, have learned to maintain distance, use footwork more effectively, and capitalize on striking opportunities. Improved takedown defense, combined with a sharp understanding of timing and movement, has allowed them to keep the fight standing where they hold the advantage. Meanwhile, wrestlers from different backgrounds, whether they come from freestyle wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or Greco-Roman wrestling, have begun to integrate their own approaches, making it harder for traditional sambo specialists to impose their will as they once did. A prime example is Islam Makhachev, widely regarded as the heir to Khabib Nurmagomedov's legacy. Despite his dominance, he has already shown moments of vulnerability inside the cage. Against Charles Oliveira, a jiu-jitsu specialist with devastating submission skills, Islam was briefly knocked down, a rare sight for a fighter of his caliber. Though he recovered and secured victory, the fight highlighted weaknesses in his striking defense that future opponents can exploit. Similarly, other Chechen-based fighters like Sharabulit, who carry the region's signature grappling-heavy approach, have suffered unexpected defeats against opponents who have successfully neutralized their pressure style. These setbacks raise important questions. Is the once unbreakable Chechen and Dagestani dominance in MMA starting to fade? Or is it merely undergoing a necessary evolution to keep up with the ever-changing dynamics of modern mixed martial arts? Chapter 2. The Rise of Strikers and Hybrid Fighters. The new era of MMA is no longer defined by specialists. It belongs to hybrids. Fighters who can seamlessly blend striking, wrestling, and submission skills are reshaping the sport, making it increasingly difficult for single-dimensional fighters to dominate. The days when a grappler could impose their will without resistance are fading, as modern strikers have evolved to counter their approach. Look at elite fighters like Alex Pereira, Israel Adesanya, and Leon Edwards. They represent the next generation of well-rounded martial artists. These fighters have mastered the art of takedown defense, using footwork, precision striking, and clinch control to nullify wrestling-heavy opponents. Pereira's devastating knockout power, Adesanya's elite counter-striking, and Edwards' ability to stuff takedowns while delivering lethal head kicks all demonstrate the evolution of striking in MMA. They aren't just world-class strikers, they're also equipped with the necessary defensive tools to neutralize relentless wrestlers. The Chechen and Dagestani style, which has traditionally relied on takedown dominance, is now facing resistance like never before. A prime example of this shift came when Khamzat Chimaev, once hailed as the next unstoppable force in MMA, faced Gilbert Burns. Many expected Chimaev to steamroll through the Brazilian, but instead the fight exposed significant vulnerabilities in his game. Burns, a former world jiu-jitsu champion with a powerful striking arsenal, did what few expected. He stood toe-to-toe with Chimaev and forced him into a brutal war. Chimaev's striking defense was tested like never before, and his ability to absorb damage became a major concern. While he ultimately won by decision, the fight was razor close, and many believed he barely scraped by. This fight was a wake-up call. It proved that the Chechen style, while undeniably effective, is not invincible. Against well-rounded fighters who can strike, defend takedowns, and threaten submissions, the once dominant wrestling-heavy approach now faces real challenges. The question remains, can Chechen and Dagestani fighters evolve to keep up with this new generation of MMA hybrids, or is their era of dominance slowly slipping away? Chapter 3. The increasing wear and tear. One of the biggest reasons the Chechen fighting style may not last long is the toll it takes on the body. Wrestling-heavy fighters put themselves through extreme physical strain. Their style requires constant pressure, constant grappling, and a level of cardio that is difficult to maintain over long careers. Fighters like Khabib retired early to preserve their health. Others, like Umar Nurmagomedov and Islam Makhachev, have faced injuries that have sidelined them for extended periods. The wear and tear on their bodies is undeniable. Grappling-heavy styles take years off a fighter's career. The intense training, constant weight cuts, and relentless pace lead to injuries that limit longevity. Compare this to strikers who rely on precision and efficiency. Many of them fight well into their late 30s and even early 40s. Final chapter. The future of the Chechen style. So what does the future hold for the Chechen fighting style? While it is still a dominant approach, it is no longer the only path to success. Fighters must evolve. Islam Makhachev has already begun incorporating better striking into his game. Khamzat Chimaev has realized the importance of refining his stand-up. The next generation of fighters must adapt, or they will be left behind. The truth is, no fighting style remains supreme forever. MMA is about adaptation, evolution, and survival. If the Chechen fighters do not continue to evolve, their dominance will fade. But if they learn from their weaknesses and grow, they could still be a force to be reckoned with for years to come. What do you think? Will the Chechen fighting style continue to dominate MMA for years to come? Or are we already witnessing its decline as the sport evolves? Are hybrid fighters and elite strikers the new kings of the octagon? Or will wrestling-heavy approaches adapt and reclaim their dominance? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of combat sports, fighter analysis, and the latest trends shaping the future of MMA.